to a brand new episode here on Carmland's Farm. So the sprayer is out today. Yes, we've got some spraying to do, and we've got a lot of spraying to do. In fact, apart from the olives and the grape field, or groves, or oops, right, nobody saw that. If you did, I'll deny everything. Yeah, so as I say, we've got every field to do apart from the olive groves and the grapevines, but otherwise all fields are up for spraying. So it's going to be a spray video today, so hopefully you're all in the mood for a bit of spraying. I was going to do this as a chatty video, but that's not really within the keeping of the rules of Carmland's Farm. And not only that as well, but there's a lot to get on with. Once we've got the spraying done, we need to then get the honey loaded into the lorry. We're going to sell some honey, we're going to sell some eggs, just eggs that I couldn't in the end use, and they're excess, and they were blocking up the coop, so I had to get rid of them. So we'll sell them, we'll get a little bit of money for them straight away. And off camera as well, what have I done? I've sold quite a bit of equipment and kit. I've bought this sprayer, so this sprayer is 36 meters. We're now sort of drilling on 36 meter tram lines. We've got more land now, so we need sort of bigger kit. We were lucky enough to find a 9 meter drill that our tractors could manage to pull okay, so we can drill at 36 meter tram lines. And what that also means is obviously that a 200 horsepower tractor can comfortably pull this sprayer. So we've got a 36 meter sprayer. I was going to get the self-propelled one, but unfortunately it is just over 200 horsepower. So obviously I couldn't use it because it was slightly over, but not to worry. As I say, this one will do the job more than good enough. And I thought as well, it does look fairly nice on the back of the New Holland, so I thought, why not? But yeah, so hopefully you're all doing well on this Thursday morning, or Thursday afternoon, I guess, as it goes out. But alright, what we'll do is we'll go down here and then we'll start coming this way across. But yeah, we're getting sort of, kind of at the minute, a bit back into a little bit of normal routine, which is really nice, to be fair. Slowly but surely. I've had a couple of meetings this week again. I've had a couple of things that I've had to do for myself. And as I say, slowly but surely, we are getting there. But yeah, it's good to be recording again, I've got to be honest. So far so good for this week. I've managed to record at least one video every day. So I say it's nice to be back recording. It's one of those things, it's kind of like while you're doing it, you're kind of like, oh yeah, I could pick this up and drop it whenever I wanted, I'm not obsessed. Do you know what I mean? And then suddenly, you're told you can't do it for a few days, and then you're just desperate to do it. And that's kind of how it's been really for me. It's been a case of I've not been able to do it, and that's all I've wanted to do. And as I say, I've been wanting to do YouTube for a few years now. So the fact that the sort of fact that at first I was kind of like, it's going to get taken away from me when I've sort of started to get somewhere with it, and then one or two people kind of sort of pulled me to one side and said, no. Your life doesn't stop just because you've become a full-time dad. That's not what happens. It doesn't work like that. You're still entitled to all the things that you like doing and all the things you want to do. Yes, like in terms of my racing and stuff, I'm obviously going to have to scale that right back. because you know, I'm really not going to have the money to do that. But you know, they said, but you know, as in terms of like YouTube and stuff like that, you know, women are running, you know, sort of, you know, successful, you know, big businesses, you know, and still being full-time single mums to their kids. You know, it's just like if you're kind of, you know, saying what you're saying, you know, the fact that, you know, you have your little boy, then you know, you're kind of in a way lazy, and also as well, you know, you're just not thinking this through. So the fact that I am sort of able to carry on, I mean, yes, you know, like I said before, you know, when it was just me, I could do it whenever. You know, if I didn't feel like it in the morning or the afternoon, I could do it, you know, through the night. You know, it was no problem. Whereas now, you know, through the night it's just not happening because I need my sleep. I'm tired now. And as I say, he keeps me on my toes because he's got you know, ADHD and autism, and boy does he keep me on my toes. Never mind. I'm hoping, you know, that by sort of Christmas I'll have a six-pack. I'll be able to run because as I say, the amount of activity that I've had to do is unbelievable. And as I say, at the moment we're still living at mum's. We're, you know, in the process of trying to sort out housing. But even living at my mum's, it's kind of like, you know, you have to build stuff, and like, you know, from nowhere I've become someone that's suddenly able to put together, you know, flat pack furniture, which I've sort of never had to do before, you know. And oh, it's just everything has kind of changed, you know. And but there we go. As I say, as long as I can do my my YouTube, then all is well with the world as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, we'll get this done, and then, as I say, we'll go over the bridge. We go left. The way we're going now, we go left and then over the bridge, and then we come into the next group of fields. We do actually have quite a sharp hill to get, or steep hill to go up, but I'm sure we can manage that. One thing, cause like this is funnily enough the second video today that I'm recording, and got through the whole of the first video that I recorded, and I was kind of like, you know, this is weird. My phone hasn't rung once this morning, and I literally just about sat down to do this because I've now got an hour until the school run, until I have to go to the school, because he's going to school about 9 miles away. Once everything gets settled down and he gets used to kind of living here and with me and everything, I am going to sort of talk to him about the possibility of moving him schools so he's a little bit nearer, because, you know, it is obviously costing quite a bit of diesel and things. And but anyway, so that's, you know, so as I say, I have to leave about 3 to get there for about, you know, sort of half past 3 to 8 to 4, somewhere around there. So but yeah, so I've forgotten what I was saying, only because there's someone outside my window hammering. It's a very random thing, and he keeps looking at me as well. But yeah, so as I say, oh, that's what I was talking about. So as I say, I recorded the first video, you know, sort of sat down, and I thought, I don't know, I thought my phone hasn't rung at all today. You know, I was thinking, like, you know, people said that they were going to get in touch, and, you know, this, that, and everything else, and they just haven't, you know. And I then had my lunch, came in, converted the first video that I did, put it up onto YouTube, you know, did a few of the little bits and pieces, and then pulled my phone out to kind of, like, you know, seriously know what, you know. And I didn't realise, but my phone had turned itself off in my pocket. So the reason it hasn't rung is because it was actually switched off. So I am expecting a deluge of calls this afternoon, but I will persevere with recording me the videos anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm expecting. but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we must get this spray, and once we get these fields sprayed, then you know, we'll be on a good one. You know, we can get on with other stuff then. As I say, we've got the honey to sell, some eggs to sell. I've got, so the barley that I was using for the seed, I've obviously now finished drilling for this year. We've obviously got a field of barley growing again, so that should be more than enough seed again for next year, because it was enough this year. You know, yeah, the field number may just increase a little bit, but there was still quite a bit of seed left over, so we're you know, we're more than in a good position in regards to that. So the barley has now been put into flour. Hopefully we'll get quite a bit of, I think it was about 80,000 litres I put in the flour mill, and that will then obviously start us producing bread, but more importantly it will start us producing cakes as well. And I might stop bread production and just produce cakes. Now the reason being is cakes are worth nearly double the price of bread, and so therefore, you know, it's worth me not baking bread anymore, but just making cakes. You know, because obviously we're going to get far more for them. Yes, we're going to, you know, there's far more ingredients that are required for cakes rather than just the flour, but at the same time it's still going to be worth it. The other thing we need to do as well is we need to increase the number of the number of greenhouses to produce the strawberries. All this land out here, I am going to buy this and I'm going to turn it all over to fields. So that's my sort of my plan for out here. So this is all going to be turned over to fields, and we're going to farm this. But we've got some trees there to cut down as well, you know, which I wouldn't mind doing, and then using the sawmill, and then you know, producing some furniture and stuff as well, or even laying my own sawmill down, which, you know, I'm not opposed to. But all these trees can be cut down. I am going to use, just because I'm not very good with the forestry, there we go, equipment. I am going to use the in-game one. Hopefully that lane should branch off that way, because I need to get to that field. I suppose I could just cut across the bloody grass, really, couldn't I? It's not ours yet, but it soon will be. But yeah, so that's you know, sort of something else that I want to do, because I want to get furniture being made. And then what we'll do is maybe one of the fields down here or something, we'll just make a big field and we'll just plant a forest in it, and we'll go from there. I used to get in trouble for this at work. So what I used to do was to cut down, especially if we were spraying overnight, which wasn't obviously, you know, if the wind had died down and what have you, or in the winter time if it was frosty or whatever, you know, then we would spray overnight. But if we were, say if I was at work in the morning or in the day, and they were, you know, and the boss said, well, you know, the wind's going to be, you know, the same speed, you know, for the rest of the day, you can go home once it's you know, once it's all sprayed. Well, to save a little bit of time, I used to unfold the sprayer while I was moving. So I'd get into the field and then obviously like unfolding the sprayer while I was getting into position on the headlands, you know, where I wanted to start. And yeah, I used to get in trouble for that. I got caught, I think, twice doing it. The first time it was just a case of don't do that. The second time it was, I've told you not to do that. If I see you doing it again, you know, you'll come off the sprayer. Now that doesn't sound like a huge thing, and I guess in the grand scheme of things I wouldn't have been that bothered, but there was a really good spraying premium. If you were on the spray team, you got paid really good money, and so you would get a flat rate, and then for all of the skills that you had, so like I could do spraying, I could do drilling, I could do so like sort of what the farm considered sort of the big jobs of the farm, well, you'd get a premium on top of your your wage. Because there were tractor drivers there that were literally just tractor drivers, and they would just drive trailers or whatever, and they didn't really have. I mean, that's a skill in within itself, and I'm not putting them down, but they couldn't go out and drill a field. They couldn't plough a field. They just weren't trained for it. They were trained for basically carting. If they weren't carting sort of harvest produce, they'd be carting sort of manure and slurry and soil if we were. I mean, the farm was constantly building, constantly evolving, so there'd always be soil. And I mean, a lot of them, to be fair to them, actually, well, not a lot of them, but a few of them were trained on the excavators and stuff, so that they would get a premium for that. But we did have a few drivers. I don't know exactly how many. I mean, I didn't realise until the other day when I took my little boy onto one of the challenges, and I was talking to Shane, and I said to him, I said, when I worked there, and he was like, yeah. I said, how many people were actually working here roughly? And he said, well, I don't know. He said, but now there is 62 full-time staff that work here, on the farm. That's not including the offices and stuff like that. And so he said, and we've taken quite a few on. So he said, I would bet it was in the 50s when you were working here. And I was like, bloody hell. And he said, like, and to think that, there was like sort of 6 of us that could do, on the arable team, that could do any arable job. The rest of them were either just sort of tractor and trailer drivers, or, just general sort of tractor drivers. So, they would, so if I was drilling, one of those tractor drivers would bring seed to me, they would bring diesel to me, they would bring my lunch to me, if I was working through the evening, they would bring, my evening meal to me, so all of which I had to eat on the move. I couldn't stop and eat my tea. I had to eat my tea on the move, but at least it was a hot meal, which was something, because a lot of farms, you don't get that sort of treatment on, so to get all of that stuff was really good, as I say. And one of those tractor drivers would be the guy, if I needed parts or if something broke, and I was fairly certain that I could fix it myself, but I needed parts, or I needed whatever. So then I would ring, and then one of those lads would be the ones that would bring them out. If we were travelling from through counties, like we had land in Cambridgeshire, we had land in Lincolnshire, we had land in Norfolk, land in Suffolk. I never went to the land in Suffolk. Apart from when I was on the P team, and we harvested vining peas out there, but that was the only time. I never went there to work the land. And when I was on the P team, which I only did twice, I was only on tractor and trailer, so it wasn't a big important sort of job, although all jobs are important, doesn't matter what you're doing. But yeah, that was my tasks. And as I say, really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's really big, as I say, but a couple of times, as I say, twice I got caught out unfolding on the move, and got in trouble. And as I say, the second time I got told that if I was caught doing it again, I would be taken off spraying team. And trust me, for the money that you got paid for spraying, you wanted to be on the spraying team. I put myself through my PA1 and PA2 to be on the spraying team, because that's how desperate I was to be on the spraying team. It cost quite a bit of money to put myself through it, but I put myself through it, and the fire manager just said, look, if you're willing to pay, to put yourself through what we would have paid for, then you must want to be on there. And I did, because as I say, it was a really good premium. I can't remember exactly how much it was now, because obviously it's a few years ago, but I know that if I wasn't ploughing, because ploughing was my job, and that was my job first over everything. If there was ploughing to be done, I was doing it. And because I was able to sort of get it done quickly and efficiently and what have you, very rarely did anyone else ever come and do the ploughing. So if it started to stack up, it was long days, very long days. And I remember one year being look at that, it's not quite going to meet, and the only reason it's not going to quite meet is because of the way the land is sloping down. And what happens is it just, and you can't see it with your eye, but it just pulls that drill over a little bit. And what happens is you think then, I'm overlapping here, so you're steering against, trying to keep the drill just running alongside what you've already drilled. And what you should do is allow the drill to go into it a little bit, because it will move the tram line over slightly, and that means then it will cover the sort of the way the hill or slope in this case really sort of slopes down. It will compensate the difference, and that's because I've fought against it, and that's how much I fought against it to how much I was out. So that's going to work now the same all the way across now. But there we go, and that's the reason why it does that. And that's just naturally you're telling yourself, I need to be moving over here because I'm overlapping, when you have to go against the grain and sort of say, no, I'm going to allow the drill to overlap this, because it's going to put me right next time. And so that that's why you would do it. Anyway, I've waffled on way too much. I'm going to switch over to some time lapse now, and then we're going to crack on. So I'll see you in a little bit. Bye for now. And I'm back. Thankfully we've got all the spraying done now. I don't know whether we need to do that one more time, but for now at least it's done. And as I say, we're getting the flour now over to the bakery. I don't know if you saw as well, but did I not quite go far enough? Obviously not. But I also took the bread production off and the chocolate production off. So all of our sugar, flour and everything now is just going to go to making cakes, because the amount of money that we can get through making cakes far outweighs the amount that we would be able to make in chocolate and bread. So that's what we've done. I've turned that over to so that we're just making cakes, because they're the most profitable thing to do. It would be nice to kind of get to a point, if this was a sort of proper sort of normal save, I would then do 2 bakeries, 2 dairies, 2 sugar mills, and do it that way, so that each one was producing either just bread or chocolate or whatever. But we haven't really got the land to do that on this save, and not only that, I don't think it would be all that practical anyway to do that, so we'll just do it this way and just make cakes. Got to be honest, a couple of saves early doors, when the game first came out, I was making bread all the time. Sort of before I started doing YouTube videos, really, I was sort of kind of sort of doing my own sort of little playthroughs where I was sort of growing milling wheat, and and then sort of milling the wheat into flour and then making bread. But I've never done cakes, so I thought it'd be interesting, because the cakes we also need a greenhouse, and what greenhouse is, because we're going to need more strawberries as our production goes up. We're going to need more sugar, and I haven't got any sugar growing at the moment, which is really frustrating. So it's a case of, well, what do I do? Do you know what I mean? It's like, obviously, the answer is plant some blooming sugar beet or sugar cane or something, but we're gonna. I mean, we've got a little bit of sugar there that we can put in. I mean, it's 4,000 litres. It's not very much. But yeah, that's something we do need to get growing, and we need to get growing quite quickly as well. But as I pointed out when we was doing the spraying, that land down there, I will buy that. Obviously, I'll mow it, turn it into silage, or hay or something like that, and then I will turn them over to fields, and then we can get them growing. And I might just have a big field of like sugar beet or something each year in the same field, just to supply us with the sugar, because we are hopefully, as we go by, we're going to need a lot more. We're going to need a lot more sugar, to make the cakes and and stuff like that. So, but yeah, as I say, it's been a different episode. I mean, obviously we went and sold some eggs and some sugar as well. Now that we're producing cakes, we could do with the eggs. Not sugar, we went and sold some honey, sorry. So, we did that. As I say, we got all the spraying done, which we needed to get done. And then if it does need doing again, I'll probably do it off camera, so that you don't get 2 videos quite close up of spraying. But yeah, so next episode we'll be looking to do quite a bit of building, and also because the day will have moved, because the month would have moved on again, as I say, we will check we will check any spraying that needs to be done, and we will start to get those fields bought and mowed, and then we can sort of turn them over. So we're basically now, I'm sure you're aware, we're basically now just twiddling our thumbs, waiting for all of the crops to grow so that we can get on with productions again. We also need to, we need to put in quite a few more greenhouses as well, because I'm not sure that single greenhouse is going to keep up with the production of the strawberries. I would say that our produce in here is getting quite low, so strawberries are running quite low. Everything else not too bad. Flour's pretty good, sugar's pretty good. We do need milk here. So yeah, we could do with a secondary. A secondary would then allow us to produce milk for butter, and then milk in there for the eggs anyway, for the cakes anyway. Eggs are looking good. Butter's not bad. We can, like I say, we need to. So we need to. Oh, my bloody mouse. Say it every time. Honestly, it's so infuriatingly frustrating, this mouse. I had to get it because my old mouse. So you will have known from the one video that I did on it that I've got a game called Supermarket Simulator, and I quite like the game. It's an enjoyable sort of game that you can play for half hour, just just between it's like if there's sort of 30 minutes between you doing one thing till you need to get on with the next. It's a good little game to play for 30 minutes because it is quite repetitive and it does get a little bit boring sort of, but just for, I know a couple of people that play the game all day. They find this a little bit repetitive and boring, whereas I can play this, I could just play this if it was humanly possible. I could play this for 24 hours of every day, but they find this game like that, and as I say, I find that sort of Supermarket Simulator. But when you're serving customers, you have to click on the things, on the items, to run them through the till. And what happened was I was playing that game, and at the same time as well, and I don't play either now because I just don't get the time, but I was also playing Denizen, and on the fishing on Denizen, you have to press the mouse button really quickly to reel the fish in, and of course it caused my mouse button to basically not be pressable. It just broke it. I think it must have broke or wore the spring or something in it, or however they work, but it wouldn't work no more, so I had to get a mouse. Well, luckily I had a really old one in the drawer, but I now know why it was in the drawer. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of that rubbish. So I'm going to leave this episode here. Thanks ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you haven't done already, please don't forget to hit the like, comment, subscribe, and share the videos wherever you like to share them, because it all really does help me and the channel. And all that's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for joining me on this episode. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye for now.